Hey guys, welcome back. So, a lot of you have come here and you were watching my restoration on the joiner, and I haven't forgotten about it. And I'm sorry for not putting out a video like a long time ago. I have been working on it. I'm having some camera difficulties though. I've been using the GoPro for quite a while now, and I finally convinced my wife to say, hey, you have so many fancy cameras. You should let me use them. So hopefully the video is a lot crisper, a lot clearer, the coloring is much better because I'm using a much better camera. Still use the GoPro for some situations because I don't want to be getting metal dust and shavings and stuff on this camera. But for introductions to this new machine and doing a little unboxing, I think it'll be a good fit. So what might not be perfectly in focus, but what I'm standing right next to is the brand new toy that's joining the shop today. It is a 5 horsepower, 18-inch Delta 22201 planer. It's once again a beast. It's from the 60s. It is in pristine condition. I can't even believe it. And I'm excited to get it up and running. This won't be a restoration video, but it will be kind of cool to learn about this machine as it's essentially ready to go. So I'll bring you in, we'll take a look at what it can do, and we're going to do a little unboxing for a nice bit of something that came in the mail for this. Alright. Alright. What you're looking at is the DeltaRockwell 18-inch planer from the very front of it. And might I say, ain't she pretty. She's got a different setup than what you guys might be used to. It uses a wedged bed. So this bed moves forward and this bed moves back on a wedge, and that allows you to raise and lower it. There's a couple advantages for that. Essentially, by having such a huge contact system along the entire structure of the planer, it makes it incredibly stable. As well, versus when it's just sitting on essentially a couple screw heads, right? Acme threads. It's just, most of its weight is resting on those threads, which can vibrate, which can easily come out. With this, you move this bad boy, and you can lower and raise and bring in these beds together. There's some downsides to this planer. A system like this requires maintenance. And it, obviously, as any older machine, you have a lot more points of attention that you have to give it before you use it. So these beds are for the most part maintenance free, although it is a huge metal-to-metal surface, so you have to keep them oiled. And as well, there's a gearbox system built into this that we're going to have to keep oiled and make sure it stays maintained. This machine also is a 3-phase machine, and I don't have 3-phase in the shop. So what we have here is a VFD. It's 5 horsepower VFD. I could have gotten bigger. I probably should have, because this is a 5 horsepower machine, and you don't want to, give yourself some leeway. But I had to wire this up a little differently than normal. So right now I have it wired up to where I have straight out of the starter coming into here, or normally the plug that comes out of the starter is coming into here, then I have a plug coming out here going into the wall. That doesn't work. I have to run this a little bit different. So there is another motor, a single phase motor built in here, and that motor by itself runs the feed. Then this 5 horsepower motor on the side runs the cutter head. So I need to just wire directly from this motor out from this port into the VFD. I'll mount this on the side somewhere, and then from the VFD I'll go straight into the starter. And then from the starter we'll run a single phase wire to the single phase motor, and then from the starter to the wall. So if that's not confusing enough, it should be pretty simple. Essentially, I keep everything the same. I just put this in between this motor and the starter. So I haven't done that yet, but expect a video in a short bit about wiring up a VFD to a machine like this. I got some requests, as it looks like I'm not the only person to struggle with how to set up a VFD on a machine that runs 2 different motors. without it being too messy. So, all right, well, let's do the unboxing. All right, well, we got a couple packages. Let me move them into your line of sight. All right. Got a couple crated up packages. So excited. Now. Oh boy. Alright, so this is in here pretty good. Oh boy. Oh man, you guys figured it out yet? I'm pretty excited about this. So this is, if you remember over here on the planer, it has some bolts at the top. And that is so you can bolt a sharpening attachment, which is really cool. Bolts on there, instead of taking your planer knives out every time you need to sharpen them and setting them off or whatever, you just plop this bad boy on and it sharpens the knives right in place. And it's incredible that I found one of these at all. Oh boy, hey, look at that. It's even the right color. Well, I'm not gonna lie, I bought this from a gentleman, sight unseen. He didn't even send me a picture. I put some trust in that he was, he knew what he was talking about, he was gonna send me the right stuff, and yeah. And so, and you know, sometimes it feels good to trust people and have it work out, and sometimes that feeling is worth the little leap of faith that sometimes we have to make. So don't always, but this time I did, and he was a really stand-up guy. So. Interesting. Okay. Some doodads. Okay. Looks like we got one brand new wheel and one slightly used wheel. Really cool to have actually like a fresh one ready to go, because I don't know if I can buy these at all or not. Oh, there's a wing nut taped on here, so I'm not sure what this is, but something's taped onto it and I don't want to lose. lot of little parts here that I gotta make sure that I don't lose. It's got these little wedge blocks that I don't think are for anything. They don't look like they're for anything. And he must have put them in there to secure everything, and then they came loose on the trip over. Rings with a set screw. That looks like a... Nope, don't know. Not even gonna guess. Alright, I gotta get a square head. And I hope I have one. So, give me a minute. Alright, I don't have any of the square head bits at this shop. I have to go to the other shop if I want to get some or go buy some. So I'm going to try and take off the bottom and see if we can make progress in that direction. Alright, I got the same problem over here. Got some 2x4s in the way, all held in with these bolts. Yep. Alright guys, so I have to go to the other mega space, or just go to my other shop and get some bits to take these out. I swear one day I'll be self-sufficient in my home, at my house shop, but today is not that day. But every day we're bringing in new machines, bringing in new tools, and soon we'll be able to make some videos at home away from all that chaos. You know what? You can kind of see it in here. That's the motor and the mount. Let's open up the rest of this and figure out what else he sent me. Well, that's one seriously hefty rod. I believe that this is the rod that the motor mount rides on. So the motor will be mounted here and it rides along this rod, which is very sturdy. Just pull everything out, make sure there's nothing left behind. Yep, it's garbage now. Alright. On to our final piece. There Original Delta 22 201 cutter head, good condition. Oh, interesting. So, that's fun. I got another cutter head. I have a cutter head in the machine right now, but the guy who sent this to me apparently didn't need it. So, you know, it never hurts to have some duplicates on hand, and at bare minimum, I got 3 extra blades. New blades. These are brand new. So, win. Right? He mentioned that he got a spiral cutter head for his. Here are my Gibbs. Should have 6 of these. 2, 4, 5, 6. All the bolts seem to be in there. Beautiful. This cutter head looks to be in, you know, decent, really good condition. So, I think what I'll do is I'll probably box this back up how it came, and what we're gonna do is this bad boy will just live the majority of its life probably on my shelf. But if something terrible ever happens to my cutter head, I can't figure out what might be, but I'll be really honest with you, you never freaking know. As I've learned with the joiner restoration, bad things can happen to your cutter heads. So, we'll just slip this wrist breaker back in here. With its blades. And we'll call this good. What I'll do is I will bolt these back on here, and wait for the day when I might need to use this. Now, I'm no hoarder, so if by some crazy circumstance one of you guys out there in the world has my planer, and your cutter head is missing, broken, I don't know, there's something wrong with it, feel free to send me a message. And you know, if this goes to actually being on a machine and working, I think I'd rather that happen than it just hang out on my shelf for, you know, 10 years or who knows how long. So, thanks guys.